This book, The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, caused me to question everything and had a profound effect on my entire life. Welcome to Success Manifestation with Kath Kyle, and today we are discussing the differences between surrender and manifestation and how we can reconcile the two. So you might have guessed that I am very passionate about manifestation. I have manifested many things in my life. I've manifested my dream life. I'm living my dream life, and I absolutely love the power of manifestation. I've read numerous books on the subject, and for some reason I was really drawn to read The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer, which is pretty much the complete opposite of manifestation. If you take things on face value, manifestation is all about control. What do I want? What am I going to get? How am I going to get it? What am I going to do to get it? Taking action to get what I want. And surrendering, on the other hand, is letting go of your own preferences, letting go of your own desires, and just letting God, the universe, or life just take over and do its thing. So how can we reconcile the two? The Surrender Experiment book is fantastic. You've got to read it if you haven't read it so far. I listened to the audio version and I literally couldn't stop listening to it. It's an incredible story about how Michael Singer, he starts getting annoyed at the voice in his head. He gets annoyed at his own thoughts and he can't stand the constant chatter that's going on in his mind. And a lot of people can relate to this. So he got into meditation and yoga, and he just wanted peace. He just wanted that voice to stop talking all the time. So he moved out into the woods. He just wanted peace and quiet. He wanted to be on his own. He just spent his time meditating, doing yoga, and he thought that that could physically stop that voice in his head. He noticed that that voice had a lot of preferences about things that he liked, things that he didn't like, things that he wanted to get for himself, and he realized the only way he could stop that voice from constantly going on and on and on is if he surrendered to life itself, if he surrendered to the will of God or the universe. So from that moment he began the surrender experiment, and he said, life, do with me what you will. I am yours for the taking. I promise you I will do whatever you want me to do. Whatever you ask of me, I will say yes. Even if I don't want to do it, I will say yes to it. So he went through his life and people demanded certain things of him, and there were a lot of things that he didn't actually want to do. He didn't desire to do them, but he said, yes, I'll do that, because he felt like that was the direction he was being led into, and his life changed beyond all recognition. And I won't spoil the end of the book for you, but you may have seen him being interviewed by Oprah and how his life transformed as a result of this surrender experiment. If you are a business owner or you desire to make a lot of money, then you will be very motivated by this story, because he ends up with a lot of worldly success. And a lot of people will be very motivated by this story, and they might think to themselves, well, if I simply surrender myself to the will of God, I will naturally end up being successful because I won't be blocking any of the success. And that's not necessarily the case. It's not everybody's desire to have what Michael Singer had. And everybody has a different journey and a different path and a different purpose in this life. So it's not necessarily true if you just surrender that you will end up getting the same kind of results that Michael Singer got. So that's surrender, and that's what surrender's all about, and that's the kind of things that could potentially happen to you if you surrender, but are not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. So now let's look at manifestation. If we can't guarantee that we're going to get good results if we surrender, then why not manifest them instead? And that's why manifestation is so popular, because people are wanting to control their lives, and they're wanting to decide what they want, and they're wanting to guarantee that they're going to get it by manifesting their results. And manifestation definitely does work. So it seems like surrender and manifestation are complete opposites, that there's nothing similar about them whatsoever. One is about giving up control and one is about controlling, or so it seems. And I was so motivated by the surrender experiment. It really did change me. I really did ponder this. As somebody who was so into manifestation, I just couldn't grasp how to reconcile both of them. I really felt like I needed to surrender, but at the same time, I knew the results that I'd had from manifestation. And one day the realization hit me. They're both the same thing. How can they possibly be both the same thing? This is how. Because what surrender actually means is we surrender to our desires. So what does that mean? I believe that our desires are placed on our hearts for a reason, for a purpose, because it's our purpose to obtain those desires. You didn't decide the desires that you were to have in this life. You can't help them. If you wanted to go and do something else, you just wouldn't be motivated to do it. You're only motivated to obtain the desire that you want to have, and that's because it was placed in your mind. And a lot of people actually try and push away their desires. They don't believe that they can have them. They don't believe they are worthy of them. They don't believe that they have what it takes. They're too scared. They don't know what would happen or how things might change if they actually get what they desire to have. So they push away their desires. And it's the pushing away of your desires that is actually not surrendering. Surrendering means that you know you have your desires. You are surrendering to the will of God, to the will of life. And life wants you to have your desires. And these desires could be a combination of both earthly and spiritual desires. We can have desires for things like world peace, for helping other people, for feeling joyful, for feeling happy, feeling contentment. But we can also have desires for physical things, for worldly things like new houses, new cars, new relationships. And to me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with any of these desires. I don't think it makes you any less spiritual if you desire to have things in your world. Most people want to own their own home. That is a big desire of most people. So most people are striving to be able to afford their own home or to pay off their mortgage so they can finally own their own home. Michael Singer started off on his journey by actually building his own home on his own patch of land. So very early on his journey, he had what most people want. He had the physical space, the thing that he owned, that he felt free and freedom because he could be on his own property undisturbed by other people. But a lot of the time we get these things, these worldly things, the new car, the new home, and we realize that that didn't actually make us happy. And that's still a journey that we have to go through in our lives to discover what matters next. When we have the peace and the freedom in our own home and we don't have to worry about money so much, then we can be free to think about peace, love and joy and more of these spiritual type things. But I don't think there's anything wrong with following the desires to obtain worldly things, because it then often leads on to obtaining spiritual desires after that. And that's just the journey of life that most people go on. It's just that some people, it takes them most of their life to get to the spiritual point, and other people like Michael Singer, they're able to get to that point earlier on in their journey and then write a book about that, because that was obviously his purpose for his life, to motivate and inspire other people to obtain things like peace. So on the face of it, it looks like Michael Singer gave up all of his desires and all of his preferences and completely surrendered all of his preferences to the will of God. But if you look at things at the start of the book, his main desire was actually to have peace. He just wanted peace. So that was his desire, and that's why he was motivated to surrender all else for that main preference, for that main desire. There is something that I call the pyramid of preferences, and the things at the top of the pyramid of preferences will override everything else at the bottom. So if you place peace at the top of the pyramid of preferences, then you can surrender all other preferences underneath as long as they lead to ultimate peace. So for Michael Singer, he gave up all of his preferences for everything else to obtain the one preference at the top of the pyramid of preferences, which was peace. And there would have been a good reason why Michael was given that preference, because there was really big things in store for him, and he had to be a peaceful and calm person in order to be able to cope with those things that were going to be thrown at him. He did things that he didn't want to do because peace was more important to him than resisting the things that he felt like he should be doing. Ultimately, for Michael, peace came from surrender, not from living in the woods on his own. However, not all of us desire peace. Not all of us have peace at the top of the pyramid of preferences. I personally don't desire to stop the noise in my head because I have done a lot of work on my mindset, and my mindset's pretty positive most of the time now anyway, but peace has never been a driving force in my life. Excitement has been more of a driving force in my life. I really like fun, so that's what motivates me. Maybe as I get older, I'll have more of a desire for peace and sitting down and meditating for hours on end, but for now, I really like to have fun. I like to experiment with manifestations. I like the fun of it all, to see what can manifest, to use different techniques, and I find all that fun and exciting because that's what motivates me. And I used to be so confused between surrender and manifestation, and when to surrender, when to manifest, when to use this, when to use that. But now I've come to the conclusion that it's all surrender. Everything is surrender. And as soon as you accept that everything in life is all about surrender, life will become much more joyful to you. I would love to know what you thought of the book, so leave me a comment below. And if you want to know how I manifest, I've created another video called How I Manifest with Reverse Memories, and that walks you through my effective technique. And if you are somebody who wants to manifest business results, I have a free gift for you below, which is my Manifestation Milestones board pack. And now it's time for you to go and put your stamp on the world.